Hey everybody, this is Brandon from 840 Customs. A bunch of friends and I started 840 Customs 3 years ago, I think 3 years ago. It's just a group of us that were all working on cars. We decided to put the shop together and start doing stuff here, and you've been along for most of that ride. I am a design engineer at a company that makes performance parts for Audi and Volkswagen. Man. I've been working on cars for 21 years. My dad and I joined a race team when I was 11 and learned a lot of mechanics and band-aid fixes in the racing industry. And then after college, got into the street scene and then hot rods, stuff like that. So I'm pretty well versed. I guess we'll go newest to oldest. I have a 2021 Volkswagen Jetta S, which is just a beater commuter car. It's been great. I have a 2003 S10 that's a single cab short bed. It's a great truck just to get parts. I have a 1992 Buick Roadmaster that we LS swapped last year. That's been a fun one. 82 Volvo 240 DL. I have a 80 Volvo 240 as a parts car that we're going to give to Sam. And what else do I have? I have a 68 Beetle, a 67 Cadillac Coupe de Ville, a 67 Chevy C50. I think that's it. I think that's all I have. And I have 1/8 of a C4.
Parked owner.
Probably the Buick is going to be the next project. There's a few things that need to get done before we can really put it back on the road. Just some maintenance things as far as like some suspension bushings and moving the motor around a little bit, and maybe some boost in the future. I'd like to think my specialty is diagnostics. I feel like I'm pretty good at tracking things down and making sure that things work properly. Other than that, I would say the design side. So we've done a lot of custom things here in the shop, and so making 3D modeling parts, 3D printing, modifying, making brackets, stuff like that, like minor fabrication, and the digital side of developing parts is definitely where I shine. Air conditioning work. I'm not a fan of brakes, but I do them all the time. I think the Volvo went to a mechanic like a year ago. We did the brakes on here, and this has like a fancy switch, and there's like a special tool to get it to work. I'm not above taking my car to a mechanic. I'm only out here like 1 day a week, so if I can't get things done, in that time, every now and then things end up at a mechanic getting wrapped up. Mercedes AMG Black, those turbos. Turbocharged V8s, man, they sound killer. Probably 2J, straight 6, they sound pretty great too. 4-cylinder, I'm a big fan of the Fiat 4-cylinders. Especially the Abarths, they just have a special note. Absolutely. The Jet is a stick. That's a great question. I don't know. I think probably like as far as ease of maintenance and taking care of things and swappability, like the GM line is pretty good. Historically, I'm a big Ford trucks fan. But yeah, I'm pretty open to whatever. A couple years ago, we were in Mexico and they rented a YJ Jeep that was barely a car. We had to drive it, down this road, and the steering was just absolutely shot. None of the bushings were there. Like, it was the worst car I've ever had to drive on the road. GTR. Yeah, it's the same car for the last 15 years, and it's just played out by now. Other honorable mention is LFA, super boring car. As far as like design perspective, both cars are pretty shot, and they're just cars. Talladega Nights. Big fan of that, buddy comedy. It reminds me of the race team when I was younger, so it's very similar. I get a lot of build inspiration from my friends. My philosophy is that if other people are doing it, I'm not super interested in doing it. So you'll see like the Buick there's a lot of people that have like junkyard swapped a Buick, but there's not a lot of people that have gone to the extent that we have. So I just like to differentiate. I don't like to be doing the same thing that other people do. That being said, obviously like Instagram, YouTube, there's a bunch of good stuff there. But usually it's me and my friends coming up with terrible ideas. I think generally it depends on what you're doing with the car. I used to have a Fiat 500 that was naturally aspirated, and we built that to be a canyon car, and it was like the most fun car to drive, super linear, didn't have any problems with traction in the corner. But like the Buick's probably going to get twin turboed at some point, and I'm not opposed to superchargers either. So I think everything has its place. It's just where that place is. As far as getting into the industry, it's expensive. Just be prepared for that. I think, just find a platform that you really enjoy. Do the things that, bring you happiness. If you're big into Volkswagens, then the aftermarket for that's huge. If you're big into, GM platforms, the aftermarket for that's huge. Jeeps are huge. Just find something you're passionate about and then work on that. I think the longest trip was getting the Cuda. That was like 3,100 miles, and we didn't really stop. Altogether, I think one shot, I would say we drove from Cabo to LA for a race doing off-road racing, and that was like straight through 24 hours. I think that was like 1,200 miles. I think my favorite tool right now are electric ratchets. They are great for getting up inside, hard to reach areas, and you can put a swivel on these and pretty much get whatever to work. So electric ratchets, definitely my favorite in the shop. The most challenging car that I've worked on was probably my Mustang. I had a 64.5 Mustang that I got from my grandparents when I was in high school, and we did like all the metal work on that. So like new quarters, new trunk floor, floorboards, new fenders, whole front end. So going through and learning how to do like panel welding and making sure everything fit together, that was probably the most. All right, guys, thanks for watching. You can always follow us at 840 Customs on pretty much every platform. I do really appreciate Sam from Stone Ridge Metalworks and Ed from Arizona Custom Interiors being here and just helping out. We're always trying to do new things and bring some good content for you guys. We have some new stuff coming up. The biggest one is a new channel that we're working on called Hot Rod Honeymoon. It's going to be a partnership between all three of us, and it's going to be a really, really interesting, more produced version of the stuff that we do here. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching.